The warden's voice was flat. "Your son was murdered in my facility yesterday." Guards looked the other way. The world narrowed to a pinpoint. Breath shallow. Silence pressing in. "Who ordered it?" I asked, though I already knew no answer would soften what I felt burning inside. "A cartel boss. Santos. Runs the whole place." My hand shook as I gripped the phone. Years of training should have steadied me. 20 years in special forces, but nothing prepares you for the sound of your child's death recited like a routine report. "I need a list of every corrupt guard's address." The line went silent. Long. Cold. Then, "Check your email." I opened it. 23 names, addresses, details. At the bottom, a blank space where one more should have been. I knew who. Santos, number 24. And the clock began ticking. 72 hours until they noticed. Grief didn't come. Not the way people imagine it. No sobbing, no breaking down. Just silence. My son's face flickered in memory. His laugh, his crooked teeth. The way he looked at me when I came home from deployments. Trust in his eyes. Trust I had promised never to betray. Now, he was gone. And betrayal lingered everywhere. I pictured the guards leaning against the wall while blades cut into him. Paid to look away. Men who ate with their families that same night, as if nothing had happened. The betrayal wasn't just Santos, it was the system itself. Rot, disguised as order. And in that moment, the old soldier in me reawakened. Not the one who fought wars abroad, but the one who understood patience, infiltration, silence. I didn't cry. I calculated. How to dismantle 23 lives. Quietly, one by one. The grief would come later, if I allowed it. I moved in shadows, always had. The first guard's house was exactly as expected. White picket fence, kids' toys on the lawn. I didn't break in. I didn't even touch the door. I watched, took notes. His wife's schedule, the way he kept his pistol in the glove box, careless. Every address was the same. Normal lives shielding dirty hands. Smiles in daylight, rot after sundown. I charted them on a map. Red ink bleeding across the city. Each dot a reminder of how easily they traded my son's life for money. At night, I read old messages from him, buried myself in the sound of his voice through recordings. Each word fed the fire. But rage without direction was useless. I tightened it into something sharper, a blade. DNA reports, financial trails, surveillance records. I gathered everything, connecting their lives to Santos like veins to a black heart. By the third night, I had enough to bring it all down without ever pulling a trigger. The truth arrived in the form of a ledger, smuggled out by a clerk who thought nobody noticed. I noticed. Every payment, every name, each guard marked by his own greed. And there, at the center, Santos's signature, bold, untouchable, or so he believed. I printed the pages, bound them in a folder, heavy as a coffin. That night, I placed it on my wife's kitchen table. She looked at me, confused, then opened it. Her face drained of color as she saw her brother's name among the 23. I said nothing, just watched. Her hands trembled as she turned the pages, until she reached Santos, her brother's benefactor, protector, employer. I whispered one word, family. Her tears came then. Mine did not. The next morning I sent copies of the ledger to the press, another to the state attorney, another to a federal contact who owed me more than one favor. Within hours, headlines screamed of corruption, cartels, blood money. By nightfall, the first guard was arrested. Families dragged into the street as cameras rolled. I didn't need to lift a weapon. They destroyed themselves under the weight of their own signatures. As for Santos, he was transferred to isolation, awaiting federal indictment. The king stripped of his crown, surrounded by silence. And my wife? She sat across from me, shattered, unable to reconcile blood loyalty with truth. I looked at her once, cold, detached. "You knew something," I said. Not a question. She didn't answer. Tears were enough. I stood, walked away, left her drowning in the wreckage of her silence. I didn't attend the funerals of the reputations I buried, didn't linger to watch the fall of families who had traded mine for cash. Justice wasn't satisfying. It never is. It was simply necessary. The clock had run out on them, not on me. My son's voice still echoes in my head sometimes when the nights stretch long, but I've learned not to answer. Grief is noise. Noise gets you killed. I live in silence now, sharp, focused, detached. The ledger sits in my drawer, untouched, proof of what betrayal costs. I don't open it anymore. I don't need to, because every time I close my eyes, I remember the only number that mattered, 24, and the day I stopped being a father. The day I became something colder. Vengeance doesn't bring back the dead. It just makes sure no one forgets who killed them.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.